Good morning. Good morning. We are doing it again. Good morning, TOMGIRL. How are you? TOMGIRL Tik Tok, I must say. You got your new handle. Good morning to you all. Thank you for coming in. A little bit late, about a minute or so. That's okay. I had to get Molly in her jacket. She's wearing her pink coat today. I hope you're doing well this fine day. It is Wednesday, Hump Day, November 17th. It's 6:21 Eastern Standard Time. We're most likely going to lose the feed here for a second, as usual. When I'm down in the driveway, it'll be out for a couple seconds and then it'll come back. Good morning to you. The rock star. You're funny. I tried to be a rock star. Never really happened. But I appreciate that. Thank you. Like I said, we'll probably lose the stream as we do every morning as I walk down the driveway. Not sure what the heck's going on in this one little spot in the driveway, but I usually lose it. I hope this morning finds you all well. Fix my glasses here. Actually, didn't lose the stream. Very surprised. I saw your video on the So there we go. It waited till I got into the roadway before the stream went out. Okay, I will. I do love music, that's for sure. Music is life. Without it, it'd be a very dull existence, I think. Fixing my collar. My collar was popped. Good morning, loves. How are you? Glad to see you this morning, or this evening for you. I know that. Come on, Molly. What are you doing? My hair's sticking up. I think I need a haircut. Come on, Molly. Come on. Molly is all decked out this morning in her pink coat. Let me see if I can switch the camera around. You can see. Hey, come here. Hey, Molly, come on. Come on. She's going to do her P-mail. There you go. There she is in her pink jacket. Come here. Can you say hi? Say hi to everybody. She's all decked out in pink this morning. Pretty in pink. There we go. Back to front camera. Yeah, so I did see it though. It was definitely foggy for sure. What's going on here? I don't know what's happening. Got all kinds of messages popping up on the screen, but that's okay. Molly, come on. She's doing some extra sniffing this morning. Good morning, Joe Luggs. How are you? Or good evening, I should say, in your neck of the woods, right? I think it's evening there. Glad you could stop in. Good to see you. We do this just about every morning, or weekday morning, that is, along with my friends here in the chat. We do a early morning walk every day. And let me tell you something right now. It's a chilly one today. I'd say we're down probably below freezing. I'm going to guess it's probably around 28 degrees. I haven't looked yet. But it is, it's definitely chilly. Oh, I'm glad you're doing okay. That's good. Okay is fantastic. Other than the cold, everything here is pretty good. Molly is on the run and pulling me as we go. She likes to do that. She's in a hurry. It's like a little kid. Can't wait to get to the next spot. But I hope everybody's got something good planned today. Another typical work day for me. Last night I was able to work on that video that I've been producing on American made whiskey, believe it or not. I don't know if anybody likes whiskey or in the chat. I'm a big fan. PMA, you got that right. You have that right. PMA saves the day. Every day. You gotta think those positive thoughts. Aspirations for the day. Colleen listens to her daily aspirations on her way to work, which is good. And you say to yourself that you're going to have a fantastic day today, and you'll be successful in all you do. And hi, TOMGIRL. Everything's going to work out, and you're going to, even if you have a little stress, you're going to handle it well. There you go. That's right. Yeah, I like whiskey. In moderation, like everything else. But I enjoy the process of it, how it's made, what goes into it. Back in July, I think, we went to Mount Vernon, which is the home of our first president, George Washington. And in the 1790s, he opened a distillery. It was a few years after the war. And, of course, on his farm, he grew a lot of grain. And things weren't doing so well in terms of selling the grain and that. And he had an overabundance of corn and rye. And he wasn't sure what he was going to do. And he had a gentleman, a Scotchman named Anderson, who worked for him. Well, before he came to the United States, in Scotland, he was a distiller. So he convinced the president to try making a small batch of whiskey. And at first, as the story goes, the president was reluctant to making that, but he convinced the president to do a small batch, and it sold out in a matter of days. And that convinced the president that maybe this Mr. Anderson has a good idea, and they were able to make plenty more. And it was a big hit. So we toured the distillery down there. We actually, because I like American history, and especially that time, 18th century America, sampling the exact recipe that they made, that was like a step back in time for me. And the whiskey then wasn't aged, so it didn't have that amber color that we're used to, like when you see American bourbons and, blended whiskeys like Crown Royal, they have that amber hue to them. His whiskey was clear, it wasn't aged. They would make or distill the whiskey, and then they'd send it off to the taverns and wherever else it went. And it wasn't until some years later that here in the United States they started to age the whiskey. So, which leads me to the video we made the other day. I have a coworker who actually owns his own distillery. It's family owned. Him and his wife started it. And I thought, because I have an interest in making whiskey and he has a distillery, why not go up and do a video? It would help us both out, I think, if I could make it decent. You know, that would help him. He could use it as an advertisement. And it would give me an opportunity to hone my editing skills and be able to offer you folks something a little different than just us walking around. And I haven't really done a destination video in a while, so I think it was time. So that's what I've been working on. I'm hoping to have it out by the weekend. I'm very excited about it. I think it's coming out really well. But he makes his whiskey the traditional way. It's clear in color. And he also has, I'm breathing heavy. Molly's got me walking at a good clip. He also has a line of what he calls moonshine. And I think it's, if you're familiar with some of the commercially made, the flavored moonshines like the apple pie and whatnot, his is like that. They have cherry pie and apple pie. He makes one that's like a lemon lime. It's like a margarita. He calls them his cocktails, but it's made with that whiskey that he makes. And I'll be honest, it's very good. Not that I'm shocked, but you know, you never know with those things. It could be like drinking lighter fluid, but his is actually really good. And the whiskey itself, the clear whiskey, because I do have some of the George Washington Mount Vernon whiskey. I bought a couple bottles of it. It's very similar to what they were making back in the 18th century. So I was very impressed. So I'm excited. I hope to have that out this weekend. And it's an interview, and then he gives us a tour of the distillery and talks about the process that goes into actually, you know, from the grains and the mash to the finished product. So I hope you guys will enjoy that, and hopefully that'll be out this weekend. That's my plan anyway. Hopefully by Sunday I'll have it up and on our page. So that's my latest. Anybody got anything they're working on? Yeah, you're a featherweight. You are a small lady for sure. But that's okay. We don't I don't, you know, I have some friends that are like, oh, come on, let's have a shot. Let's do another shot. Look, just enjoy something. If you like it, enjoy it. If not, you don't have to have it either. Call Molly. She's into I showed it the other morning. Somebody threw out the top of a pineapple. It's on the side of the road here. She was starting to lick on it. It's kind of gross. But I'll keep her out of that. She won't get sick. I don't know how long it's been there, although it's probably frozen by now. But so I don't know. Anybody working on anything good? Any good videos? Has anybody done any traveling recently? I know right now it's probably a lot of people aren't really doing a lot. I know some of my YouTube family Some people have gone on a cruise. Some people are out west. They're doing some camping in their RVs. I'm hoping that we can get down to Florida to see my parents. I'd like to do it before Christmas, but I'm not sure. You're a big woman. Look, I've seen you. You're not very big. I'm a big man, and you are not anywhere near being big. But I get that. There's a lot of people they can be. What we would say is a cheap date. One drink and you've had enough. Colleen can be that way sometimes. Colleen's a wine drinker. She likes wine. She'll indulge in a little whiskey with me now and then, but she likes her wine. She has her own wine cellar, believe it or not. I bet she has close to 50 bottles of wine in her cellar. And she's not a big drinker as far as like the amount. She'll enjoy a glass here and there. But I think like me, I think she likes the process of it. She's been to some vineyards out in upstate New York, out on the Finger Lakes. There's several vineyards out there. That's the kind of the East Coast wine country. She's been out there with her sisters. I'd like to go out and maybe make a video out there too, although I'm not a big wine guy. I like a sparkling wine, but I don't really, especially red wine. I'm not a big red wine guy. I used to make beer and drink beer, but the older I got, I think I have somewhat of an intolerance to gluten, and it would make me feel bloated, and I'd get really tired and really sweaty from drinking beer. So I don't drink beer anymore, although I did enjoy it when I did drink it. And we have the Budweiser brewing plant is here in New Hampshire. There's one of the many they have. But there's one here in Merrimack, New Hampshire, and that's the summer home of the Clydesdales. So that's kind of cool. I posted a video this morning on our content creator page on Facebook of a video that Colleen and I did. We went to the brewing plant for Christmas time. They called it the Frosty Tour. That was in 2019. They didn't do one last year just because of the present situation in the world. But that's pretty interesting. They had it all decked out with lights, and we were able to take a tour in there, and then they poured us a fresh Bud Light right off this giant vat that it had. It was very good. Very crisp and clean and cold. So, TOMGIRL, you finally got some sleep? Well, that's good. I know in the previous walks we've done, we talk about how important sleep is. I know for me, sleep's very important. I can't stay up late at night. The only nights I stay up late are when I'm performing. So Saturday night I have a show, and I'll probably be up till, I don't know, probably midnight anyway. We play from, I think, 7 to 10. And, once we break down, it'll be close to 11 o'clock. By the time I get out of there, it'll be 11:30. And then I got to get home and then unload. And it's a lot of work. Have I ever heard a Terrapin beer has a chocolate peanut butter aftertaste? Oh, and you love the Clydesdales. Yeah, they are. The Clydesdales are, they're enormous. and majestic looking. They're just, if you like horses, I mean, these things are giant. I know that they measure them in hands. I don't know how many hands they have, but they're big. But they're really cool. I don't think they're here this time of year. If they are, they're probably getting ready to. I think they go down to Tampa, down towards Busch Gardens. That's their winter home, I believe. They bring them down there. But if you ever get a chance to go to one of the brewing companies where they have them, it's impressive. And the I don't know what you call them, the barns, I guess, where they keep them in, they're all tiled, and there's all kinds of brass endorments, I guess you'd call them. I mean, the place is decked out. It's beautiful. It's not like your typical country barn. The floors are all tiled, and the stalls are perfect. It's beautiful. I mean, it is Budweiser, so they got a couple dollars. But as far as Terrapin beer, I haven't heard of that. Where is that from? Is that a domestic beer? Is that made here in the United States? There's so many beers now. A lot of craft beer companies throughout the country. Oh, they had it at SeaWorld. Yeah, you got to pet it? Yeah. Aren't they big? They're so big. Growing up here where I grew up, there's a lot of farms. There were a lot of farms. So as a kid, especially in the town I grew up in, if you're familiar with Hood Milk and Hood Dairy, it's originally from the town I grew up in. So there were a lot of dairy farms, a lot of horse farms, a lot of apple orchards. But I get to grow up and experience a lot of farm animals, horses and cows. They were everywhere. There was one instance I remember as a young child driving by, or a couple instances, but driving by with my folks past the Hood Dairy. The cows in the morning hundreds of cows they'd walk across the road and they'd hold traffic up. They were going out into the field for the day to do their thing, eat the grass and make the milk. And then same thing in the afternoon, around 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, hundreds of cows would go back in the opposite direction and they'd hold the traffic up. Good memories. But since then, Hood Dairy has moved out of the town that I grew up in. And they're actually, believe it or not, they're in Boston or close to Boston. It may be, I want to say Somerville maybe is the town that's right outside of Boston. But you can't miss the Hood plant as you drive by on the highway. That farm that was there in the town that I grew up in is now a Chinese restaurant. The house is. They've since torn all the barns down. There's houses there now. Of course, right? Isn't that progress, as they call it? Yeah, I think if you've watched enough of my streams and my videos, I'm an animal guy. I love them. And as a kid growing up, it was a special place to grow up. You know, those are the times when, nobody had to lock their doors, and especially in the summertime, my friends and I would meet up early in the morning after breakfast, and we typically wouldn't come home until maybe a quick lunch, go back out, or not come home until supper time. We'd be out on our bikes and just doing whatever out in the country. And we'd go to the farms and visit and pet all the animals. They'd be out in the field. Um, steal apples from the apple orchard, eat them until we got a bellyache. You know, hunting frogs and doing things that young boys do. Running around causing heck in the neighborhood. I did not grow up in the city. But times move on. I actually grew up in a pretty cool town. Has a lot of history there. You know, there's a lot of history here in New England anyway, but the town I grew up in, I don't know if you know anything about 18th century history or American Revolution, but General John Stark was born in the town that I grew up in. He was a Revolutionary War general. He was a general in before that in the American or the French and Indian War, that kind of stuff. Allen B. Shepard Jr. was born in the town and grew up. He went to the same high school that I did. And if you don't know who he is, he was the first American in space. First American astronaut to go into space. And he was born, lived in the same neighborhood, actually, that I lived in. And he went to the same high school that I went to. So it was kind of cool. They used to call it Space Town. When I was a little boy in the 60s, it was Space Town. How's the weather there? Are you asking me, TOMGIRL? It's cold. It's looks like we're going to have a sunny day. The sky's clear, but it is very cold this morning. I would say it's below freezing right now. My hands are cold. The apple orchards in Michigan hold many good memories for you. Yeah, just watching them make the cider was fascinating, right? You know, it's those things, especially as a kid, that you'll never forget that. You know, isn't it? It's cool to watch them make cider. I mean, I've watched that my whole life. And one thing, Terry, did they do apple cider donuts too? Because that's something that's big here in New England, especially this time of year, harvest time. You know, you can go and get a fresh glass of cider just as they're, you know, I don't know if they call it squeezing the apples or crushing them or whatever they do, but they'll put a glass right under the spigot and you can get that fresh apple cider coming right off the thing. And they make apple cider donuts, which are pretty good. I have a lot of fond memories of that kind of stuff. You know, going to places as field trips in school, going to the farms. Thank you, loves. I'm glad you're hanging in. I hope I'm providing you with a little bit of American history or the life as a young boy growing up in the United States, or at least in New England, which is the birthplace of the country. Molly's trying to chase a car. If you're familiar with Boston, Boston is that was the city that sparked the revolution for the American history. I'm probably 35 minutes north of Boston. We have gone there a lot, but there's a lot of history there. Paul Revere lived there, and John Adams, and the Old North Church. There's a trail there. They call it the Freedom Trail, and it's actually a physical trail that they have in the sidewalk that goes through the city. It's like a set of bricks, and you follow that, and it takes you to all the historical places, like the Old North Church and Paul Revere's house. the Green Dragon, which was a tavern, and that's where pretty much the talks of going to war with Britain started, and a lot of other stuff around that era. Hey, good morning, Kenny. How are you, my friend? Thank you for coming in. I hope you're doing well today. We're just talking American history and a little of my history growing up in New England as a kid. We talked about whiskey, distilling whiskey. Molly's doing her pea mail. Anybody know what pea mail is? I think I've talked about it a little bit. But she sniffs around in any particular spot that, I don't know, I guess that provides a scent of another dog. She leaves some pea mail. I think telling the other dogs, hey, I was here. Or this is my neighborhood. Back off. I'm not sure exactly what, but yeah, it's starting to get cold there. Now you're in Indiana, right? It's cold here, believe me. Where we're at, we're not too far from Canada. And all that cold Arctic air comes down from the North Pole and through Canada and smashes right into us. I don't know, Terry. It may be. It could be. I do know that the Green Dragon is in Boston. It's a very small tavern. Colleen and I went there, it's been a few years now, maybe 4 or 5 years ago. We actually took Nick down and we did the whole Freedom Trail. It takes all day to walk through it. And of course we stopped at the Green Dragon and had a cocktail and a little bit to eat. Yeah, female, right? Colleen's the one that she, I don't know if she came up with that or not. She's the one that told me about female. But yeah, that could be. I'm not too familiar with the Lord of the Rings. I mean, and I know some about it, but that could be. I'm sure a lot of those taverns, from medieval times right into the 1700s. I know they had unique names. And it could be the Green Dragon. I don't know. That's something I'll have to look up, or if somebody wants to look it up and let us know, that would be great. I'm glad you're doing well, Kenny. Did you get any sleep last night, or have you been up binge watching? Come on, Molly. Come on. Molly has her, she's wearing her pretty and pink jacket this morning. Of course, it's cold, so she needs her coat. Colleen says she's a fashionista, I think is what she called her. Let me see. I'll see if I can reel her in here and you can see her. There she is. Got her pink coat on. Matches her pink collar. Hey. Psst. Hey. What do you see? What do you see? Merry and Pippin sang about it in the second movie. Come on. The trilogy is a tough read, but an awesome set of movies, especially the uncut. I think I saw the first one. Colleen, I believe, had read the trilogy. She's like a reading freak. She does nothing but read books, which isn't a bad thing. But that's her thing. She's a reader. You don't go out? I think you should go out more. At least go outside. Get some of that sunlight. I've talked about that in some past streams. The power of the sun. It's a good thing. You get some of that sunlight on you, get it on your skin, and that'll bring out and help your body produce vitamin D, among other things. and it helps produce endorphins, which puts you in a good mood. And that vitamin D helps a lot of things. It helps your immune system and helps fight that negativity that a person may have. We talked about UV lights in the wintertime because we don't have a lot of light in the winter. That some people buy a UV light. They even get that prescribed from their doctor. All right, let's see, Kenny. Kenny's been up since 10 p.m. last night. So you slept from 7 to 10. Well, that's okay. You got a few hours sleep. Terry says that jacket's like she's rocking a combo of grunge flannel with a millennial flair, right? Yeah. Fashionista indeed. That's what Colleen calls her. So I think you saw her red sweater with the skull and crossbones on it. She has that one. And she has another black sweater. And I think that one just has like bones on it. Typical, right? Dog stuff. And then she has a purple coat that is another winter type coat. And then you saw her green rain jacket. Yes, Terry. Sun is absolutely. The power of the sun is fantastic. We need that. So my prescription for anyone is even if you don't go out somewhere, go out of your house. Take a hat off or try to expose some skin to the UV rays of the sun and soak up some of that sun. Produce that vitamin D. It's a great thing. I love it. That's why I let that light down on my bald head. Although the UV rays aren't very strong this time of day, they will be. One of the advantages I have in my job is I get to go outside a lot. I do, like I've talked about before, I do inspections of construction sites and that kind of thing. And I'm outside for a good part of my week. Yeah, I like sleep. Yeah, right. The skull and crossbones for her goth phase. That's true. She'll be listening to The Cure and watching some goth movies. I like sleep too. I've never been a night owl. Even as a little boy, I wake up early and I go to bed early. And even today, I do the same thing. When my body's ready for sleep, it's ready. And I enjoy a good sleep. But my body wakes up. I don't need an alarm clock. It has its own internal alarm clock. It wakes up and tells me, get up. So that was 4:22 this morning when I woke up. And then once I start to wrestle a little, Molly, she's like, oh, well, you're up? Okay, well, I'm up too. I actually will be going to work a little bit later today. I have to go to my local town hall, and they don't open until 8 o'clock. So it's 7:59, but I think we can keep the stream going for a little bit. I don't know if some of you have seen where I live, but this is what I'm surrounded by. Lots of trees and forest and woods. I live in the woods. I actually like it. Picture of you, right? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I like The Cure. Absolutely. They're still rocking, those guys. It's funny because a lot of the bands I like, especially from the 80s, you don't really think about them aging like we do, but they're all old now. I'm a big Tears for Fears fan, And we went and seen them live a couple of years ago. Colleen brought me to see them in Hall & Oates. We're touring together. She took them for my birthday. And they come out with gray hair and everything. And I'm like, damn, I never really think about it. That they, they're just people too. And that they age. They're old like me. That's fine. We all age. It's how you accept it and how you treat it. Which, when I turned 40, which was 17 years ago, I had a hard time with realizing that I was old. It felt like the time went by so quickly. But at this point in my life career, it is what it is. No sense in dwelling on that. I just try to have a good time every day. I take it day by day, one day at a time, as they say. So you don't like the cold, but sometimes you like to have a love-hate relationship with it. I'm as a young boy growing up here in New England. I mean, we have everything here. I'm not far from the ocean, so in the summertime, we spend a lot of time at the beach. And then the mountains in the summertime can be fun. We've done a lot of camping up there, and then of course in the winter there's skiing and snowing. There's snowing. There's skiing and sledding. That's what I meant. I don't do a whole lot of that now, and the cold just gets into my bones, man, and my joints start to hurt. That's the sad part about getting a little bit older. So for the cold for me, I'm not a big fan. I don't know how many more years I have living in New England. I will miss leaving. I'll miss once I leave here. I'm sure I'll miss it, but I need to get somewhere where the winters aren't as harsh. Yes, that was a good episode. And yeah, she was the big Godzilla, Barbara Streisand. Those guys are relentless. But what I like about them is they pick on everybody. Everyone's fair game. I think that's great. That's a great cartoon. We were talking about cartoons yesterday. That's one we didn't really mention was South Park. Do you know that South Park, that's a real place? That's in Colorado. I've actually been there. It's not very big. It's very, very small. And the cartoon, they actually make it look bigger with stores and buildings and that. But the actual South Park, Colorado, it's one of those towns with a very short main street, and that's it. If you blink, you'll miss it. But there's a restaurant there that we went to. It's just a local pizza place, and a lot of fun. We had a good time there. South Park, Colorado. I didn't know there was a real place until we went there. Yeah, you love the snow. People do love to play in it. You like to play in the rain too. Well, I hope it's warm rain, not cold. This is the time of year we're going to end up getting the freezing rain coming. And here comes my lovely bride. I think she's going to get ready to start the Jeep. There she comes.
Good morning. Oh, look at you. Did you have a good walk? Yes, you did.
She's going to get ready to go to work. You're a kiddish? Yep. That's fine. Oh, yeah, South Park. Yep. Yeah. I remember when it first came on air. Colleen and I would watch it. We wouldn't let the kids watch it. Just because they were little back then. They were very little. Now they're in their 30s. Long time ago. I think, is it still on the air? They still making South Park cartoons? I'm not really familiar with much. We cut the cable to the house, believe it or not. I don't have cable. All we have is the internet. I watch a lot of YouTube, of course. My Celtic goddess. Yep. Yeah, we have adventures. Um, I like to do a lot. I'm not static, I guess. I'm lucky that I have family in Colorado, um, and that I went out there prior to me having the YouTube channel, which is kind of crappy because we had a lot of fun out there. I mean, we went to you know Rocky Mountain National Park, which is near what's a town called Estes Park, and we stayed at a hotel called the Stanley Hotel. And that, if you like Stephen King, that's the hotel that he kind of locked himself in a room and he wrote The Shining in. And if you know The Shining, it's all about a hotel and a family and the kind of the possession of one of the family members in the hotel. But it's not the actual hotel from the movie, but it inspired him to write that story. And I think they said he stayed there for 4 or 5 days, and he actually wrote the book there. It's a pretty cool hotel. The Stanley Steamer, which was a car that was a steam-powered car, the guy who made that, Mr. Stanley, he actually built that hotel. And that's in Estes Park, Colorado. And it's funny because it leads right into some of the things that I like, which is whiskey. At one time, they had the largest whiskey bar in the world was there. So I got a chance to sit there and have a couple drams of whiskey, as they say. Tapping into your clairvoyance, see? Yeah, right? Um, but that's just one of adventures I've had. I should probably write a book. I don't know. I don't know if I can write. Maybe make a movie. But that's just one of the many adventures that my Celtic goddess and I have had together, and I want to have many more. I mean, that's kind of the idea behind this travel channel is we like to travel. Colleen especially likes to travel, and I'm being a musician that used to write music and record. That creative side of me now has developed into being a videographer and an amateur producer, which is a lot of fun. It's something I want to try to turn into a way to gain revenue so that when I leave the fire department and we do end up um, kind of semi-retiring and going on the road, I can use it a way as a revenue stream to make money. Not sure how, but maybe making commercials or documentaries, something like that. Colleen's out the door. I'll see you later.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye. Colleen just looked at me. She said, it's 10 past. Like I said, I have to go to the town hall for 8 o'clock, so I'm going into work a little bit late today. I guess I failed to tell her that. Yeah, maybe I should. I don't know. Maybe I'll get somebody who knows how to write, and I'll sit down and tell them all about my experiences growing up here. Um, when you're living in the moment, I know when I grew up, like a lot of kids and teens, you hated the town you grew up on and thought you lived a boring life. And I just wanted to get on the road and go somewhere. But when I look back, I'm pretty lucky. I had a pretty good life. It's not over yet, of course, but um, I grew up in a great part of the country, and I've had some fun places to grow up in and experience. Um, we want to do a lot more. That's why, we bought the RV. I want to be able to kind of take that across the country. Some of the groups that we're in on Facebook, the travel groups, they do these meetups. I think I've talked about them before. And there's one, I think it's maybe in June, in Oregon. And I've never been to Oregon. So that may be something we'll consider going out and driving out to. I'd like to take 2 or 3 weeks right in a row and just get in that thing and travel from here, go across the country. If I write a few lines at a time on Insta, people will start commenting and offering to promote you. Is that right? No, I don't know. I'm not sure how to start that, but maybe I will. I actually wrote a children's book a long time ago. It was kind of like a picture book. It was based upon my youngest son, who didn't want to go to his first day of school. So it was, I called it Daniel's First Day. And it was about a little boy's first day of going to school and how he didn't want to go. And, it was started the night before. He didn't want to go to sleep because he knew he'd wake up and have to go to school. And then he didn't want to go to school when he got up. And he pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And then when he went to school, he realized that he liked school. And at the end of the book, he couldn't wait. Told his mom he couldn't wait to go to bed so he could wake up and go to school. But that was a long time ago. I never published it, but it was just something I did. Who knows? Maybe I will write some adventures loosely based upon some of the adventures I've had. Never know. I like the whole video process and videotaping. And let's see, what time is it? It's 7:13. And we'll go another 7 minutes or so. That'll lead me down to being here for an hour. We've been 52 minutes. I've been talking to all my friends here. We've actually made it back to the yard. Like I said, you can see Colleen in the car and that. The ground is crispy as I walk on it. Very crispy. The frost is out. I think it's probably time I'm going to have to start lighting the wood stove. I need to start cutting some wood too. I have a bunch of wood that I have, but you can see the sun. That's the sunlight on me. I have a bunch of wood in the yard, but it's all full length. It's been seasoning over the spring and summer. It's time to cut it up and split it. There's always something to be done. Yeah, you like the fall, Tom Girl. Yeah, a lot of people do. I mean, I don't mind it. It just reminds me of what's coming next, which is winter. And I don't like the short days, nor do I like the cold. I like it to be sunny from 5:30 a.m. to 9 o'clock at night. That's my jam. Sunny days and warm days. T-shirt and shorts for me. That's my thing. I hate bundling up in sweatshirts and hats and gloves. It's not my cup of tea, I guess, as they say. Not my cup of tea. So anybody got anything planned for today? Anything good? Well, you getting ready for your walk? Okay. Yeah, don't definitely go out. It's good for you. Just walking, that's another thing that gets those endorphins going. And honestly, it puts you in a good mood. I think it does for me. Physical activity is not a bad thing. You know, you don't want to overdo it, but get out there in the sunlight, get those endorphins going, and get that body and brain producing some of that vitamin D. Help, especially this time of year, we need to boost our immune systems. That way, you don't get a cold or catch the flu or any other thing out there. Well, good night, loves. Thank you for stopping in. Have a good sleep and enjoy your night. And as always, I appreciate you coming in. Thank you. Peace and love to you, my friend. Enjoy your evening. And I think that's a good time for me to say so long to everybody. I gotta bring Molly in. She gets an after walk snack every day. You're going grocery shopping. That's always fun, huh? That's not one of my fun things to do. Some people like it. Colleen does. She enjoys going and getting the supplies. But there's that flag behind me. I'm not going to say a whole lot about it. You guys know how I feel. Very, very, very proud. Maybe that's why I'm so drawn to colonial America. But you too, loves. You have a great day and a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Yeah, I think maybe that's why I'm drawn to the colonial America stuff, or why I like the flag so much, is because I'm drawn to that. My mother used to say that I lived in that time in a past life. I lived in the colonial America. I don't know if I believe that kind of thing or not, but I'm just interested in it. But I really appreciate every one of you coming in. I know I can feel the love from you, and I pass my love on to you folks. And it's much appreciated, this friendship that I have with all of you, my long distance friends, all over the world, right? That's interests me a lot. And like we talked about pen pals and that yesterday, it's pretty cool. But I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Terry, get out there and do that walk. Get that sunlight. Get those heart and lungs pumping. And let's get those endorphins going, and let's make some vitamin D. And don't forget, PMA saves the day. There's always a bright side to everything. And let's focus on that and not focus on the negativity, because negativity draws negativity. Positivity draws positivity. Thank you, Kenny. I appreciate that, my friend. I'm glad you came in, and I hope to see you guys all again very soon. We'll probably be doing it again tomorrow morning, as usual. But you know, I can't express my appreciation to all of you, and you know, my feelings for you all. So peace and love to all of you, my friends. And with that said, I'm Jimmy. I am your astute tourist. We will see you later.